it's your host again, Wray. Today I have a special guest for my segment, which is called Inspiring Friends. And I will let him introduce himself soon. With Inspiring Friends, just to give you a little bit of background, if it's your first time viewing this video, is I have friends of mine who I admire from afar, who are inspiring to me. And I see it, and I think the world should see it. So I want to give them a little bit of spotlight, even if they're not, even if they are. So without further ado, go ahead, my guy.
Well, awesome, Al Boogie. I appreciate it, man. I'm excited to be on. My name is Tyler Auerbacher. I've known Al for quite some time now. We have a lot in common, obviously. But I'm just pumped to be on the show, man. I'm excited for what you're creating, and I hope to provide some value and some perspective. And I think everybody has their own story, and I think it's important for everyone to be open-minded to at least hear what others have went through, and try to get some advice and perspective for themselves. So I know I do that with content, and I'm excited for you to now have a platform to do that for others, dude. So
Appreciate it.
yeah. So you want me to start like kind of where I'm at now, being the co-founder of Dippidi, or you want to start kind of back in the days before I even knew you?
Let's go before you let's go that direction.
Yeah, so I grew up in Auburndale, Florida. So some of you may know that's the hometown of Tracy McGrady. So as a young kid, I immediately wanted to play basketball and be like T-Mac. I wore the leg sleeve. I did everything like him. The leg kick. Couldn't jump as high as him, but I tried. But just being from Auburndale and a kid seeing someone who kind of paved the way and let people know that it's possible to reach your goals and dreams, I think that really was kind of like a subconscious thing. Like I may not even have realized that he did that for me, but he did.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of let it, like a little town in Auburndale, Florida. Like, come on now. Like, how did Tracy McGrady, one of the best ever in the NBA, come, from here to make it all the way to be a Hall of Famer, right? So just kind of seeing what he did. I just grew up playing basketball my entire life. I played for Auburndale High School, which is now Tracy McGrady Gymnasium. But I was fortunate to have a pretty good career, and was known for my sharp shooting. I like to say that I was kind of like a Klay Thompson kind of skill type. If you're building me on 2K, so
original Splash Brother.
Yeah. I was the original Splash Brother before the Splash Brothers. So, but yeah, man, I played AAU basketball my entire life, and then was fortunate to get a scholarship to the University of North Florida, and that's where I continued playing ball there. And that's really where a lot of my growth started to happen. I think is just kind of everything was great leading up to then. Everything was smooth. I got good grades. I wasn't a ladies' man, but I had girlfriends, and I was fairly popular. I played basketball. I was going to D1 school, so like things were good. So like going to UNF, it was like a shock, because now it's like I was the best player on the team. Now I'm like, oh crap. Now it's like these guys are 5 inches taller than me doing what I did. Now, what am I going to do now? And I think just going through that, I didn't prepare myself enough that I could have leading into my kind of preparing, like athletic wise and just mentally, going to a D1 school and kind of going from high school to college is a big jump. I mean, as you know, being a coach, Al, like it's not only a physical jump, but it's a mental thing, especially if you're going in a out of state college, or especially if it's like a D1 program where it's a full-time job, man. I mean, you're in there, it's study hall at nights leading into early morning weights at 6 a.m., individuals at 7:30, team practice from 8 to 10, team breakfast from 10 to 11, class from 11 to 2, individuals PM session. Then you have study hall again. then you have to do it all over again. Then you have away games and home. Like, it's just like, it gets to be a lot. So, over time, you really have to be committed. And I wasn't there yet, man. So, I think just going through that experience kind of helped me to where I'm at now. But make a long story short, with UNF, I was there for a year, and basically, we weren't good, to be quite frank with you. We sucked. Well, we won maybe seven or eight games. I didn't know what I was getting myself into with the coach and kind of where the program was. They were in a complete rebuild. So my first year was the last year of my coach's tenure there. They brought in a whole new athletic director, and that athletic director hired a new coach from Baylor who came in, Coach Driscoll. He's there now. Yep. Great guy, an amazing coach. And, at the time, I didn't understand what he was doing, and I was very upset. But he basically came in and cleaned house. He got rid of everybody. I think only maybe 3 or 4 seniors, stayed on the team. Everyone else got their release papers and were free to do whatever they wanted to do. What was real and just the bad part of it was I met him one time. Like, I had one meeting with him face to face. He didn't see me play one time. He didn't look at any footage. He didn't even know anything about me. The only thing he said was that they're going to release me and that I'm no longer a part of the program. I'm free to do whatever I want. If I need any help, let them know. And that was it. And I'll never forget walking out of the UNF gym, and I know because you play there, and I mean, you're right there. So walking out of the gym, they have a 15-minute parking area, like right between the walkway and the new bookstore, Yep. And I just sat in my car for like 45 minutes, and I just didn't know what the hell I was about to do. Like, wow. I just got released, and mind you, this is like April of 2009. April 2009. So as you know, April, you already have your roster set for the next year as a college program. Like, you're already preparing for the next season. So at that point, I was stuck. So I basically redshirted my another year at UNF. Or what I really had in store. And I was telling you before this, like, it's crazy because I could have went so many different directions. Because I was basically finally a college student with nothing to do. Like, I was kind of just, now I was at UNF in Jacksonville. I got Jack's Beach. I got everything you could want, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I just went to like a total mindset shift. Like, this is when my life went into a complete 180. Like, I locked in, dude. I changed my body. Like, I went from like a skinny fat kid to like P90X, like ripped with the 8-pack. Like,
remember that?
Yeah, people were telling me, like, dude, what the hell did you do? And I'm like, man, you have no idea. I was in my apartment for, I'm not even kidding, Al, probably from April, when that happened, from April probably to November, dude. I didn't eat one piece of candy. I didn't eat one piece of bread, like nothing but water. Like, I worked out, I hooped, went to school, slept, did it all over again. And I was just locked in, and I was like, man, I'm about to prove Driscoll wrong. I'm about to prove these guys wrong. They messed up. They didn't give me a chance. So then I was like, screw this. So I basically put all my energy to kind of rebound. And then I put out film and reached out to all different schools, like D1 schools, D2 schools. But the problem was, Al, if I went to another D1, I would have had to sit out another year.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, because you have to sit out when you redshirt. You have to sit out at the year that you transferred to. I sat out at UNF. So I basically wasted a year because, again, I didn't know it was in April and it all happened so fast. Like it was just a complete shitty situation. But yeah, at that point, I looked at all my options. I had a few offers, and I decided to go to Weber.
Mm-hmm.
And Weber is about 45 minutes from Auburndale. My parents come to every single game. It's a good business school, and I just wanted to. I just wanted to play a lot. I just was tired of like 2 years like going by. I didn't really. My first year at UNF, I didn't get much burn. Like I played a little bit, but I was hurt a little bit, and we weren't good. Then I didn't play a full year, so now I was like, man, you know what? I just want to play again. Like I miss playing. So Weber was just a good fit overall.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. So I think the UNF was kind of a blessing in disguise. It's kind of one of the lowest points in my life, I think. But looking back at it, it kind of turned my mindset to what it is now. Like not only in that situation, but now how I've applied every bad situation or everything that negative that happens.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a positive that comes from it. It's just the way that you look at it. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you trust the process and you believe in yourself, even if it's not the first route that you intended on something to happen,
Mm-hmm.
it's for a reason to take you down a different path. And that's exactly like, that's all my life has been, dude. It's just like one door closes, another door opens, but it's all because I took that next step. Otherwise, who knows what I'd be doing?
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about that. Because I only want to think about the present and what I can control and not what I can't control. And, that's all it is, man.
So T, going into UNF, you said that you kind of were like unprepared. Maybe you had like the big head, like I'm going D1, So what made you approach UNF like that, knowing like this is the highest level, like not in conference wise, but like D1, everybody looks forward to this. I wanted to go D1, and I'm sure everyone out there wants to go D1 in their sport, or did. So like what contributed to that, of you having that inflated, view of yourself?
Well, I was just good, you know what I'm saying? Like not to be in a cocky way, but I was pretty good in high school. So, I just figured, the same thing would happen with the next level. Like I knew it'd be a little bit different, but I'd get acclimated.
Yeah.
But I just didn't prepare myself, and I took it for granted. Like I worked hard. Don't get me wrong. I took the whole summer with my boy Coop. Like we went hard that whole summer and trained, but I didn't go hard enough. Like I just didn't, because I thought that it was going to be easier. Like I didn't prepare myself. So now in everything I do, I always over prepare, and I think it's kind of partly of what I went through is just failing to prepare is preparing to fail. I think Benjamin Franklin said that. It's one of my favorite quotes. Yeah, so I think it's just I took it for granted, but it was also just a steep learning curve. So everyone who's kind of making that jump, especially from high school to D1, especially if it's like a high program D1, like I don't even want to think about that level. Like that, you have to be committed, man. Like you have to think that this is going to be your job. Like this is going to be something that you pursue for a professional career, whether it's overseas or the G League or whatever it may be. Even if you just go to school to pay your tuition and find your purpose in school, like you need to just, definitely take advantage of the opportunities you have. But yeah, man, I just think I just could have prepared a little bit more and just took a little bit for granted.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. I probably did the same thing going to Weber. Think I'm working like hard, but knowing or not knowing that there's a whole nother level to get to. But failures, adversity, all that stuff brings that to the forefront and kind of prepares us for a better situation like yourself. So you had the chance after leaving UNF to go to Weber. Great school, by the way. I'm representing right now.
Shout out to Gabe, just got the coaching job.
Yes. Head coach now at Weber, one of our former teammates. So big shout out to Gabe. So that is where Tyler and myself met. Tyler and myself actually have a mutual friend. One of my close friends, Anno, him and Tyler were really cool during that time you were at UNF. I think did you guys meet like after during like that your down period?
Yeah, it was that. It was actually my year that I was done playing. I would go to like the rec center and just hoop, like just to stay in shape. Like during like the evenings or just the rec league or whatever. And Anno was just out there hooping too, so we just connected. And TJ, I remember TJ. There's a handful of people that were kind of like the underground hoopers out there. So I rolled with them like my second year there. And then, I love music too. So Anno and I kind of connected on that level. So.
And that's like one of my first memories. Outside of like, finding out we both have a mutual friend and he's telling me like how cool you were, and then to actually meet you and to be around you for the next 3 years was pretty cool. But I think with them, I know it was during the first semester you got there, and this is when Big Sean was on the way up. And
Oh yeah.
he was performing in Orlando. I'm not sure where, maybe in the arena. And I remember
No,
he asked me.
it was a frat. It was a frat. I'll never forget this.
Mm-hmm. So it was real low key. So he was very like, this isn't Big Sean today. So like I knew a little bit about Big Sean, but honestly, I couldn't go because I didn't have the money. So Tyler was like, "Hey man, Big Sean, blah blah blah," because he knew I love music as well, and he was like, "You down to go?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'll pass on it." But the reason I didn't want to go, I never told you this, but because I didn't have the money, so I was like, "No, I'm good. I'll wait to see him in a future time." And I still haven't seen Big Sean, so hopefully I get to see him in the future. So that was like one of the first times like I remember with you, and then going back with having a mutual friend. So I remember when you committed to Weber. It was like, I guess it was like over the summer or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say they had like a newspaper article. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
they did.
they had the newspaper article, and I remember seeing that online. And it was like, oh, the hometown kid coming back. And then obviously in our program, we have a lot of guys from the area, so everyone knew you. So obviously, I had to get the opportunity to know you. I remember,
Junior.
yep, Junior, Johnson. There's a couple
Yeah,
of
Junior was big in the process of me going over too, for sure.
That's crazy, man. So thanks to June for getting Tyler there.
Yep. Yep.
So I think our first interaction, it was like an open gym, and you were sitting like a few suites down, and I was sitting down, and I'm like, I've talked to this guy on whatever was popping in, like MySpace, Facebook, whatever it was. Let me go say what's up. Like he already knows who I am. Let's make it official. So it's been gravy ever since that day. So in your time at Weber, would you say you enjoyed that more those 3 years than your year and a half at UNF?
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. I mean, it was night and day difference in terms of like the lifestyle and the campus and everything, but um, it's all about the people, right? No matter what party you're at or what venue or event, like it's all about who you're with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those smaller schools, you get a benefit of having those more intimate relationships, and the fact that we're still connected today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like those sort of things. Like there's even classmates that I'm still connected with from Weber, outside of sports. Like just we went to school like in different classes all across the world, like in Brazil. So that's pretty cool. But I think the biggest experience was just getting a chance to play and just letting out that passion, just having a good experience. And we had a really good team, both my junior and senior years there, and it was just fun, man. It was fun. We had the White House. Shout out to the White House parties.
Yes, sir.
Those were lots of fun, man. Especially when we beat. I think we beat the number 1 team in the country and the number 3 team in the country the same week.
Yep, Northwood.
We had a party that Friday night, and Coach showed up to the party even like late night, pulled up just to check up on us. That was fun. But yeah, man, Weber was a good time. I did a lot of growing there as well. Just I think it was good to kind of go through that experience at UNF and then kind of, I guess, quote unquote, redeem myself at Weber and just kind of, you know, take advantage of the opportunity that I was given there. I got my master's degree there. So it kind of all panned out in other areas that I wasn't even thinking about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that extra year sitting out at UNF allowed me to get my master's degree at Weber.
Yeah.
And because I got my master's degree at Weber, it gave me an advantage to get my first job with the Tampa Bay Bucks outside, like right when I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got an internship with the Bucks, like 3 months left, you know, before graduating with my MBA.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all of that kind of came to a culmination, you know what I'm saying? And my experience at Weber helped me prepare for my next endeavor career-wise, you know what I'm saying? So I think the Weber was a great experience for athletics, you know, kind of channeling that and getting out. And, you know, I made the all conference team my senior year. And I think that just allowed, like, it was cool to put in all that work and it finally showed and paid off, you know, even though it was a different level, it was still rewarding. And then definitely like preparing for the work career for us and everything, like that's definitely a big takeaway from Weber.
Mm-hmm. And for younger viewers who are viewing this, who might be in high school, like early college, this is a case in point of don't get caught up in the level that you go to. Like he went D1, that's what everybody aspires to go. And like he said, it was one of the low points of his life. And then get to Weber, and he ended up having an excellent career, have a great 3 years, and it's something, you know, you can look back on, you can tell your kids about, because they won't care, or your grandkids, they won't care if it was D1 or NAI. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, at the end of the day, man, like, let me tell you, there are D1 players in every level.
Yeah.
JUCO, NAI, D3, D2. There are some hoopers at every level. The only difference is height.
Yep.
I promise you, the only difference is a little bit of athleticism and a little bit of height.
Mm-hmm.
And the ceilings, the quote unquote ceilings, these gurus and these experts talk about. So I think, you know, don't get caught up on that for sure. I would say try to find the best fit for you for playing wise, but most importantly, like, what are you doing after ball? Like, what are you passionate about? Is this school a good business school? Is this a good culinary arts school because you want to be a chef?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the right school for you? Are you looking to, you know, further your faith? Are you going to a faith-based school for a reason? Are you going there for the name? Or, you know, is that something like, are you being your authentic self? So I would just say, like, think about the fit. Don't worry about the name. Don't worry about the level. If you're good enough, you will get seen. It doesn't matter, like, what I think Scottie Pippen went NAIA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Rodman, like, you heard that story. It's crazy. Like, he was damn near like homeless and he made it to the NBA. Like, if you hustle enough, if you grind enough, like, if you outperform everybody in your level, you will get an opportunity to take that next step. And that may be going to a D2, you get a scholarship offer. All these coaches know other coaches. So even if it's a D2 player like Kevin Capers from Florida Southern, he balled out. Like, he didn't even really have a good freshman, sophomore season. He was, you know, double digits, nothing crazy. Senior year, he balled out, man. Balled out. Ended up getting a 2-year G League contract. Now he's overseas making thousands of dollars. D2 school. So there's so many opportunities out there. But yeah, man, I would say don't get hung up on the name or you know, the ceilings, because you'll get in a bad situation that you become unhappy and resentful and just can change the trajectory of your life, quite frankly. So that's pretty important.
So be patient. Your time is coming. For whoever's out there who's wondering why I don't have an offer yet, just be patient. It's going to come for you.
Yep.
So let's move on later down the road after Weber. As you said, you worked for the Bucks, straight out of basically like straight out of graduating. How
Yep.
was that experience?
It was amazing, man. So well, let me take a step back. It was and it was amazing.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to cuss on this or not, Al. I'm sorry if I wasn't.
Go
Should
ahead,
have asked that first.
roll with it.
Um, but yeah, so when I left or when I started with the Bucks, I started as a part-time seasonal ticket sales rep. Okay, let me say it again: a part-time seasonal ticket sales rep. Okay, so no guarantees, no long-term commitment. I was basically a body to try to get more people to go to a very bad product. Okay, the Bucks at the time. For any Bucks fans, I know you probably got mostly Jags fans out there, which I'm sorry about. But
I got a friend he's a huge Bucks fan. Actually, like two of them.
okay, good, good. Well, so this was Mike Glennon days, like very very bad days, like 2-14 days. Like I'm calling people like you got to pay me to come to the games days, like terrible. Okay, so I'm just setting the stage here. So basically, my first 4 months, I went to 3 different malls in Tampa. I forget the names of them, but they were all the big malls. Brandon Mall was one, the one right in like the heart of Tampa. And there's another one I forget, but big malls. Bucks had kiosks, like the kiosk where you get the perfume samples,
The fake
same
chains, all
fake
that.
change, all of it, fake purses, the Sprint cell phone, like they're all like the same kiosk, okay? In like the heart of the food court, they had two of us there every like I think it was like Tuesday, I forget, it was like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or something like that. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that. Like 3 days, 3 nights a week. There were like 40 of us, and we rotated shifts. Like I'll never forget the interview process, Al. It's crazy. Like I walk into one Buck place, fresh out of like college. I wasn't done I wasn't done with my master's yet, but I walk into one Buck place. There's like 80 people in suits and ties, and like I'm just one of them. And I'm immediately like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. So and before this out, I was working at the Haines City Parks and Rec.
Mm.
Okay, so before I got this job with the Bucks, I was with Haines City Parks and Rec, not knowing what the hell I was going to do. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so let me just start there first. But anyway, so I'm at the kiosk for 4 months selling these tickets to people who walk by in the mall, like just literally trying to grab people to talk to them. And by month like 3, there was only about 10 of us who hadn't quit. It was just about like me and like 7 or 8 other people who would split shifts, and we were the only ones who like stuck with it. Because my mindset was, I'm not going back to the Parks and Rec. Like I'm about to show these people the Weber mindset that I had, not the UNF mindset that I had. So I that's literally all I think about, dude. Like I go all out to the point that it's undeniable why people should work with me, or why they should hire me or talk to me. Like all I'm doing is helping and providing value, and you're gonna see that one way or another. Like you're gonna be so annoyed at how positive I am and how much value I give that you gotta hire me. Like the guys just like they're gonna hire him. Like that's what I want to make people feel like. So the same approach when I was looking for jobs, like I would be the first person to send a thank you email. I'd be the first person to send a handwritten email. Like I would always go that next step to be like, wow, okay. So when I'm at the kiosk, every single sale that I get, and I actually got some sales, which like we always had a full-time rep with us because we couldn't actually do the process. We had like the 2 part-time people and the 1 person, which was this guy just hated his life. Like he did not want to be at the kiosk. This was eventually me because I got hired into that role.
Mm-hmm.
But that was basically just a very bad setup to begin with. But um, I'm at the kiosk. This is about a Thursday evening, maybe we have like 5 or 6 shifts left until the part-time seasonal role is over. So like I'm back to Haines City Parks and Rec. It's like 8 o'clock at night. I'm by myself with this one person who left. He left early. Like he literally left me by myself because I was so experienced because I was doing it. Like I was picking up people's shifts. Like I was going from Brandon to like New Tampa to like the mall. Like I was going like everywhere just to pick up these shifts to show these people how committed I was. I was emailing the directors of sales saying, if you have any outside projects you need any help with, I'm there. Just let me know. Like I'm always down to help with the extra projects. And you know, I would just always make myself be top of mind. So at 8 o'clock at night, this one gentleman, I'll never forget his name, Mr. Bentley. Now, I swear to God, I'm not making this up, Al. Mr. Bentley, he walks by the kiosk and he talks about the Tampa Bay Lightning and how his wife is shopping at the store and he's just walking to like to kill time right now. Mm-hmm. And he has season tickets with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And, you know, we just, you know, kick it. We're talking, you know, very casually. And then the conversation shifts to like, yeah, I'm kind of just thinking about getting some Bucks tickets instead. So I was like, oh, really? Okay, cool, man. Yeah, that's, you know, that's awesome. You know, I'm not sure if you looked into tickets lately, but you know, we got some really good deals right now. Like I went into my spiel with them, you know. Mm-hmm. Mind you, I wasn't trained to do this yet. I was just kind of going off what I heard the other guys saying, and I had like the same sheets to give them the information. Mm-hmm. And it was already 8 o'clock at night, so no sales happening anyway. You know what I'm saying? But make a long story short, man, I end up talking to this guy until the mall closes. His wife comes to meet him. Mm-hmm. And I give him all the information. I give him my personal cell phone number to make sure, because I didn't want him to call anybody else to get this deal. Like I wanted this to be mine. Like this is my ticket, bro. And it really was. Yeah. This man got the most expensive seats in Raymond James Stadium, Al. Swear to God in my life. They were called Legend seats. You don't even know about them.
No, I don't.
Legends, like, you know, like the owner box, uh-huh. right next to it. 2 seats like this, you know what I'm saying? Like the real seats, leather. Uh-huh. Like this man got the 2 most expensive seats in Raymond James Stadium. Like seasoned reps who've been there for 5 to 10 years haven't sold these seats. Wow. But it was like a huge deal in the office, like when the part-time seasonal guy sold these seats to this guy in the mall. Mm-hmm. It was like people's minds were blown. So like, make a long story short, man, it's all about timing and having your opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I was grinding my face off. Like I was just showing up. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew I wasn't going to quit this time. UNF, I quit. I gave up. I gave up on laps and running. Like I didn't give it my all because I wasn't prepared. Mm-hmm. This time, I wasn't gonna do it again. Like this time, I told myself I'm going to grind. I'm going to show up every single time. I'm going to take other people's shifts. I'm going to make such a big impression that they're going to hire me. I swear they're going to hire me. If not, they're going to refer me to someone. Like I'm going to get a job. I'm not going to be at Haines City Parks and Rec. No offense, Haines City Parks and Rec. But I had bigger aspirations. Yep. And make a long story short, man, that was like the talk. And I sold those seats. I didn't even get credit for them because I wasn't on the payroll yet. Mm-hmm. But like I facilitated the sale, and I basically was the only person who got hired out of the 40 people, out of the like 80 or 100 people who got interviewed. And I was the only person who had ever got hired from that role in the last 4 years. So I was like, it was like an unbelievable anomaly that ever happened. So like
all from hard work, man.
All from hard work and just showing up, being at the party. And that's like the one of the biggest takeaways in my life is just like show up. No matter how much you don't want to do it, no matter how tired you are, no matter how weird it is or like it doesn't make sense in the moment, just show up. I promise you. As long as you're not going to die, it's not going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to like hurt your family or like, why not? Just show up. That's it. And that's the only thing that you get from this, man. But yeah, like that was the craziest thing that happened. And then I stayed with the Bucks for about a year or two, about like a year and a half actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there as a full-time account executive. I got hired into the role that the guys were there with me at the kiosk.
Mm-hmm.
So I spoke it into existence, and it happened. And then I was terribly depressed. I didn't like. It's kind of it's one of those things like you work so hard to get to where you want to go, and you're like, I don't even want to be here. And that's where I was. It's crazy.
And not to cut you off, but it's kind of like J. Cole. I think it was like an interview or something. He was talking about how he always wanted a Rolex, and when he finally got the Rolex, he was like, "This all it is. What is it up to be? Like what it's meant to be." And like, all right, let's put this Rolex to the side. Like,
exactly, bro.
I feel it, exactly what you're saying.
That's exactly how I felt. It's like, and I know it's not the same comparison, but like I got to a point there where I wanted to be, and you know, I thought that it was the pinnacle. You know, I was rubbing shoulders with like a 6'8" offensive lineman. Like it's pretty cool. Like the first year, like your eyes are like bug-eyed, and you're just super happy and you know, giddy. But like you're eating lunch in the Bucks cafeteria next to players. Like,
wow,
it's pretty cool. Like you got free lunch. Like you got to park where the players park. You got to go to the games. But you know, like you worked the games. Like you were at a ticket sales booth at the games. You didn't watch any of the games. You didn't get to enjoy Sundays. You worked the entire day. You worked Monday through Friday and on Sunday. Mind you, not a good team either. So it wasn't enjoyable. Like it was like very bad. But in retrospect, it was a great experience because as a salesperson, and this is kind of segueing into business now.
mm-hmm.
It really helped me with my business mind and my sales approach going through what I did with the Bucks, like having to sell to people and to business owners to buy tickets to go to the games when they could go to the beach. They could go to Orlando to go to Disney for the weekend. Why would they go to a 2-14 game to watch them lose by 40?
Exactly.
Why am I going to sit in the sun in 90-degree weather and watch that product? Why would I do that? So you have to sell these people on why to do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to overcome objections and, you know, really have empathy and, you know, nurture leads. And it was just a whole different experience. And it was kind of like sports. Like, it's kind of like scoring buckets. Like every sale was like a bucket, you know what I'm saying? And so I started to like sales, but I didn't like what I was selling. So like it helped me with sales and get experience, but then I was so unhappy with like the culture and like my manager because he was like over my shoulder, like a micromanager. So that helped me learn what not to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, you know what I'm saying? Like now I learned from what I didn't like or enjoy. But that whole experience with the Bucks, man, like it was real, but it was real awesome at the same time. So like it's kind of how I tell that to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I feel like a lot of growth moments happen in life. Like it's going through moments that eventually turn out to be such positive things that happen, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I think that was the biggest takeaway for me with the Bucks.
So as I can see, you went through a lot, and this is like what? So from 2009 to what is it, like 2015, 2014?
Yeah, dude.
So like in a 5-6 year period, you went through a lot of ups and a lot of downs. So
yeah,
everybody out there watching that, we all go through it. We all go through our ups. We all have our downs, and a lot of times it's more downs than ups.
Yeah.
The ups are something to celebrate about. So to continue talking about some ups for you, 2019. 2019 was a really good year for you. You had a lot to be happy about, a lot to celebrate about. Can you please tell me, can you please tell the audience out there, how was 2019 for you? Like, what did you love most about it? And give me some highlights of 2019.
Yeah, so 2019 was kind of like, again, like a culmination of like failure that turned into success. You know, like when I left the Bucks, I actually quit the Bucks because of how unhappy that I was. And this was back in this is 2015 now. Okay, so 2015, I quit the Bucks and I actually moved back home. So I'm 25 years old. I was living in Tampa. I was also going through a breakup at the time. So this is kind of like like a side story, which I think is also very important to talk about though. But I was also in a very negative space mentally with the relationship as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that also definitely hurt like my whole mindset with work, and like my whole life was just like, it was just like I was getting punched, man. Like I was just like, I needed just to kind of recalibrate, you know? And I'm sure people are going through that now. It's just like, you know, you're getting punched every which way. And it's just like, you know what? I need to just take a break, man. I need to just cut ties. Like that's kind of what I got so overwhelmed that I was like, you know what? I'm leaving Tampa. I don't care about my job. I'm done. Like I'm going back home.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally moved back home and lived with my parents, the 25-year-old, for about a year. And that was like a weird transitional year for me. And I got some like bridge jobs locally that just didn't work out. And I was just so lost. And then I got a break with my friend working at Kaiser in Tampa, my buddy Jake. I played AAU ball with him, and I reached out to him, and I finally I got another job that paid pretty well. Like I got paid kind of what I was getting paid with at the Bucks. So I was kind of getting back on my own at this point. And this is like 2016 now.
Mm-hmm.
So from 2016, 2018, or I'm sorry, 2016, I'm working at Kaiser, and I start feeling it again, man. Like I just started feeling so upset and so like down with what I was doing and what I was pursuing. And I'm 26 years old working with people who are 45 years old doing the same job as me, miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Like these guys are talking to me every day about how miserable they are. Like in my cubicle. So now I'm in a box with people just bitching all day long about how their days are and their home life and how they're sharing vehicles because they can't afford 2 cars. And I'm just like, man, like I'm not living like this. Like, so I went right, like now I'm back in Tampa and I'm back in that same mindset, just being negative. And like, man, I got to figure this out. So at that point, I again said, you know what? I'm not happy. Life is about being happy. Like, I don't care what you do. Like, it's not about making money. Money comes as a byproduct of pursuing your happiness and what you're passionate about. Like, I'm a firm believer in that. I've been broke as hell. Like, I'm still broke as hell. I'm just being fully transparent. Like, I just got married, which I'm about to talk about. But like you need to find out what your passions are and lean into that, and eventually the money will come because you're so happy and so enthused with your days. Like I can't wait to wake up every day. Like I'm 10:30 at night jacked up because I'm like, even though I'm talking to you, Al, like I'm still thinking about, like, I have my whiteboard here. Like my day tomorrow is so busy. Like I can't wait for it. Like that's how excited I am now. But back then, again, I was like, man, I got to figure this out, dude. So I quit my job again. Well, I take that back. I actually got fired. I got fired, Al. I got fired. I got fired from Kaiser because I was actually preparing for my real estate exam. And this is how I'm getting into this story with where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
So people may think I'm crazy because this is a whole wild story. But I quit Kaiser to go into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? I have my master's degree. I love marketing. I have a sales background. I love people. and I love Tampa and Lakeland, like Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
If I can sell Bucks tickets, I can damn sure sell a home and make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my thought process was. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get my real estate license. I had a few people, like a few friends that were doing it, and like quite frankly, I thought that I was pretty I had the skill set to do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Got my license, and I joined like a very, very successful team in Tampa, because what I wanted to do was learn underneath them
Mm-hmm.
before I went out on my own. So I joined this team, and make a long story short, man, they hired a company called Curator, which was a real estate technology company that powered their website.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked on their website for this team, and this company Curator basically saw what I was doing and poached me from this real estate team.
Mm-hmm.
They basically hired me. So from the real estate team, I went to Curator, which I was there from 2016 and 2019, or 2018, which is then when I started Dippidi, which is where I'm at now. So Dippidi is, a marketing company for the real estate industry. But we work with a handful of clients all across the country to do content marketing and social media advertising. So like Facebook ads and Instagram ads and blog content. We basically become their marketing department versus them having to hire someone full-time or part-time. We really lean into the real estate industry and focus on that niche to give them like great results.
Mm-hmm.
But I basically quit my job at Curator to start Dippidi. So I've quit 2 jobs. I've gotten fired. I got cut from UNF. I got dumped. Just a lot of stuff happened before 2019, the big year. But when I was living at home during my tenure, I actually met Carly, my wife. So this kind of all goes back to like what happens in life is all for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Without me leaving my job in Tampa, moving back home, I wouldn't have met my wife, Carly. I wouldn't have gotten, the job with the real estate team. I wouldn't have gotten the job at Curator. I wouldn't have found my passion really at Curator, which is marketing and advertising and leaning into that to start Dippidi. So 2019, I start Dippidi. I get married. I'm now a homeowner. It's just an unbelievable year for me. And I'm 29. I'm 30. I turned 30 a couple months ago. But 2019, I was 29 years old going into my 30th year. And I finally felt that I was like, now I'm in my groove, man. Like I now finally have taken all those bumps and bruises and like perspective. And now it's like, now I've gotten that armor, you know what I'm saying? Like now I'm ready for battle. Like I have the mentality, I have the work ethic, I have the mentors, I have the knowledge and the training and the resource at our fingertips. Like there's no excuse anymore. Like, so now it's like time is everything. Like, especially with Kobe, like, I know you're a big Kobe fan. Like that shit hit me hard. Like we have a certain amount of time, so you got to go for it. If not, you're going to be sitting there thinking what if and all these things that you can't control. But what you can control is your perspective and your hustle. And that's what I like to preach to others, is just going for it, man. So,
And you're living proof that going for it pays off. Like it might hurt in the meantime, but eventually it's going to pay off for you sooner or later. And like you said, 2019 kind of was your peak, your pinnacle. And I hope it continues to go up for you. I know you were telling me about the marketing company, how great you guys are doing, y'all within like the first year. So I know that's great. So I'll continue to support you. Before we get out of here though, and you gave a lot of advice. What advice do you have for someone who might want to study marketing when they go to college, or somebody who wants to change a career with marketing or start their own business?
Yeah, great question, man. So my biggest advice would be first self-aware. Like, are you really a business owner? Like, do you really want to own a business, or do you want to be the best, marketer? Because that's a totally different entity. So my biggest thing would be a master at your craft first. Before you want to start your own anything, you have to be an expert. You have to study. You have to know it like the back of your hand before you can coach others. Just like a basketball coach, like, you have the necessary experience to have the credibility to tell others what to do. Okay. Same thing goes for, marketing. Like, if you have clients, like, you have to work your way up. But I would just say, you have to do what you're passionate about. So I would say start at a small scale, like get a few people, like small business owners that, do some work for free, do some test things, like show some results, build a portfolio. And then approach an agency owner like myself that you could like do like a 12-month internship or a contract basis to do some freelance work. You'd be surprised how open people are to get free work done. So if you're willing, again, going back to my point, like about the job thing, like I went out of my way to email directors. Like, I didn't have their emails. Like, I went on Google and I searched like press releases or like Buccaneers.com/staff directory. Like, I don't know what I did, but somehow I got their emails to connect with them. Like, there's always a way. I don't want to hear it. Like, if you want something bad enough, like, I'll never forget this from my trainer when I was going into UNF, which I should have took his advice. But it's how bad you want it, dog. Like, it's how bad you want it. It's as simple as that. Like, if you take that approach with everything, like, it's how bad you want your relationship. It's how bad you want your faith. It's how bad you want your job. It's how bad you want your happiness. Like, it's how bad you want it. That's it. So, like, that's the biggest thing that I would say is just, if it's something that you want to do, go for it. At least try and give it all that you got. Because if not, then you can at least say you did. Otherwise, you're going to be wondering just what if and just all these worst case scenarios, man. So go for it. Why not?
Go for it. Tyler, those were great words. I appreciate you for coming on here.
Anytime, bro.
For all the help you've given me so far. I'm definitely going to use it. But again, thank you. Hopefully I can get you back on once I get a little higher up there, once I get a bigger platform.
Anytime, bro. Anytime. We'll get you some Facebook ads running here shortly.
Oh yeah.
I got you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for today with the Wray Show. Come back next time. Peace.
I'm just trying to set the record straight. If this a fight, then I'm a heavyweight. Super light, I'm in the darkest place. Suit and tie me in a coffee.